Star Wars has always been a franchise filled with the sense of adventure. And the reason it worked so well were because of how George Lucas developed his characters through these experiences. Luke Skywalker is a prime example of the hero's journey and how his life and his many interactions formed him into a beloved character.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
On the other side of the spectrum, we have Rey, who some people like, and I respect that, but to me she is far from flawlessly written. And today, while comparing her journey to Luke's, I will show you why.
Where are you going?
Looks like I'm going nowhere. I have to go finish cleaning those droids.
Their origins are very much alike. They live in the Outer Rim with no real purpose but to survive, dreaming of something bigger, being nobodies that would change the events of the galaxy forever by having very powerful parents. There is no rocket science to suggest that The Force Awakens and A New Hope plays out in a similar manner, and that's also true with the story of Luke and Rey. Yet there is two obvious differences going on that combined makes one arc work and the other not so much.
This time, let go your conscious self and act on instinct.
1. Rey has no mentor guiding her through the very complicated and difficult learning curve of the Force, while Luke has Ben Kenobi, an experienced Jedi Knight. And 2. Luke discovering the Force feels authentic, and the way he uses it throughout the movie seems realistic. In other words, he has a hard time understanding and applying it until the final stages of the film, when the Death Star gets blown up. And even then, his mentor is there guiding him.
Let go.
The Force is strong in this one.
Luke, trust me.
Rey, on the other hand, seems to have gotten some sort of cheat code, outpowering the mighty Kylo Ren halfway through the film, something that just shouldn't be possible without a lot of training. The same could be said with her usage of the lightsaber, and how she somehow stands her ground against someone who is way more experienced. The problem lies in how the Force is inconsistently portrayed, and that the so-called leap of faith or realization of the Force that George speaks about is done very differently in the films. Luke's understanding is something that gets built up through the entire experience, with Ben Kenobi's lessons, stories, and sacrifice as the central driving point. It's literally the climax of the movie, and that's why it feels so satisfying.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Rey's realization, in my opinion, appears out of nowhere in the final fight with Kylo, but there is no underlying argument for how and why she suddenly manages to connect to it.
You need a teacher! I could show you the ways of the Force!
Kylo only mentions the word, and the second that happens, it's like Rey understands everything, without real training, without a mentor, and therefore without any kind of reason behind it. When you fail to lay the groundwork, it's difficult to make a character grow, and that's what we experience in The Last Jedi. Besides having an internal crisis of not knowing where she came from, Rey has no motivation to evolve, because she doesn't have any real problem that can be tied together with the story. In this film, it's like the roles are reversed, with the mentor Luke struggling to find courage to train her, and Rey being the helping hand. Ultimately, it all comes down to basic storytelling, of that a character has to have internal problems to be interesting, otherwise there is no story to tell. In Empire Strikes Back, Luke constantly gets challenged. Most of what he does is failing, physically and mentally many times over, and it's great because that's part of the journey and it builds a realistic connection to the character. In this case, an unexpected relationship between the hero and the villain.
I am your father.
If we examine where our characters stand at the end of these sequels, it's night and day. Luke is at his lowest point, getting saved by his friends, while it feels like Rey has completed her short character arc and become more powerful than ever before. There is nothing for her to rise above anymore, at the same time as Luke as a character only could get better.
There is good in him, I felt it. He won't turn me over to the Emperor, I can can save him, I can turn him back to the good side.
In Return of the Jedi, Luke's personal struggles regarding destiny, family, and moral dilemmas comes to an end in an extremely satisfying way because of how he managed to form his own opinion based on his experiences. It feels earned, it feels respected as a result of what he has gone through. Meanwhile, Rey stumbles through 3 movies asking, "Who am I?" giving the rise of Skywalker an impossible mission of creating an ending fueled by purpose. We witness how it fails miserably when they try to shoehorn in some needed motivation by making her a Palpatine, something that just screamed panic and desperation. In the end, Rey's story is just another casualty of the failure to plan Star Wars, with the character aimlessly wandering through the story as the writers try to figure out what to do with her. Rey's goals are through the entire trilogy very personal. While Luke's might have started off that way, by the 3rd movie they rather turn away from that, and he realizes that life isn't about you, instead of what you could give to others. It's an organic character arc, because the story and the hero is pushing it forward in unity, whilst Rey's arc and the story of the sequels instead pushed each other further and further away. Let me know your thoughts regarding this topic in the comment section below. Here you can watch another Star Wars video of mine that's about Luke Skywalker. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you will have a great day.